Hello and welcome to part 2 of games number 13 between John Key and Jamie Lee Ross. We are in the semi-finals. Again, this is game 2, so if you haven't seen game 13A, which is, this is a set of the best of 3. If you haven't seen that game, I recommend you go pop over and watch that game first. This is game number 2. So, if you haven't done that already, spoilers, Jamie Lee Ross won the first match. So it's 1 to Jamie Lee Ross and 0 to John Key. If Jamie Lee Ross wins this game, he gets to confirm his position in the finals. And you'll notice this is a completely different start to what we're used to. The loser has a home map, and the home map chosen by John Key is Nomad. And this is a fantastic game type. Everyone starts with 3 villages, and they are scattered randomly across the map. And these 3 villages must first come together to build a town centre. You can see that here. It's a really good town centre position for Jamie Lee Ross. These ibexes will provide some much needed early game food, and also he's got the forage bushes and stone and wood nearby. Large open area on the side of the map to him. We can even dock and get some fish in this northern lake. We've seen an early dock opted for John Key, and he's had to go. Oh no, there's a lumber camp for Jamie Lee Ross right here. They're very close. I think Jamie Lee Ross is hoping to have one villager just merely go about her day, and she might get caught out. If these 2 villagers happen upon her position, that could be an early kill for John Key. This kind of map and game, there's his town centre position. He might get this villager over there to help build that, to get it up a little quicker, and might see Jamie Lee Ross on the way. And you can see he might found some geese in his travels. Very good to see. So both players lucky enough to choose opposite sides of the map. John Key almost couldn't be my TC because I spent all my wood. You do usually, unless you're playing as Huns, you get less wood at the start of the game. You do usually, you can build a dock and a town centre. John Key should have prepped for this. John Key, it's your home map. You definitely meant to prep for this. I love this cheeky villager by Jamie Lee Ross. She is going to get found out, but more importantly, she's going to tell Jamie Lee Ross exactly where John Key is from the start of the game, and that could actually be quite useful. Fishing is a fantastic way to get some early food in Nomad. You'd have no guarantee of being close to a boar, although there's definitely a boar over here which John Key could lure and take advantage of, and there is a boar over here for Jamie Lee Ross, so he'll probably take advantage of that, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a dock up by these fish, and maybe even a mill to get those ibexes. So food in the early game of Nomad, very important. That you don't have that standard start. It's usually very messy, and sometimes you even get the players putting their town centres right next to each other by accident, and only discovering it when they research Town Watch in the feudal age. So that can be a lot of fun too. Usually loom is an early research you do because you don't have enough food to make the villages if you haven't done your start quite smoothly, and we can see looms come out for Jamie Lee Ross already. This is a really good idea for John Key, although these villagers should also really be on the geese, although it doesn't look like he's having a huge problem maintaining villager production. Another couple of fishing ships is obviously going to be a must, and I would also really like to see a second dock on this side to actually, there's a large, almost, or it is connected, but almost completely safe lake that John Key could be using, and I'd love to see him take advantage of that. Let's take a moment to talk about players' civilizations. We have the Persians by John Key, and Persians are a fantastic civilization for maps like this. We call them hybrid maps, where there's a lot of water, and there's also quite a bit of land as well. Persians, fantastic civilization, and he's Jamie Lee Ross, a little bit housed here. He's going to build some houses on the front instead of luring that boar a little earlier. He's playing as Khmer, and that's really fantastic because Khmer, another very strong civilization. They don't need mills by their farms. Their farmers work constantly. Very, very strong. And they have a couple of other bonuses too. In fact, what we can do, and we haven't done this, but this is quite a slow start, so we can get away with not looking for a second. The Khmer, You can see they don't need the buildings to get to the next stage, which is usually a requirement for other civs. Again, the farmers and their food and the meal is very good. Battle elephants are a little faster, and the villagers can garrison in houses. This can be very important for defense. And they get a couple of unique technologies as well, mainly geared towards some siege workshop units. The Scorpion, which is a giant ballista, and also the ballista elephant, which is effectively the same thing, but it's an elephant. Very powerful, very strong monk civilization too, the Khmer. So sometimes you'll see in scenarios like this a bit of a fast castle where possible, and into monks to counter knights and put on a lot of early game pressure. Nice little baller, and he's actually lucky enough to have 2 balls, Jamie Lee Ross. Something you'll notice is no one actually has a scout, and so you do actually almost have to use villagers to scout your enemy, or try to get to feudal age as fast as possible to get your own scout out. Scouting information is really important on a Nomad map. John Key's position here is very defensible, and he could quite easily make a wall, you know, even from here to here to here, and then back to the water, or even just, you know, really, if I was him, I would be trying to get as much scouting information off here as possible, because he might recognize that he's actually on a little, Jamie Lee Ross's point of view, if we go to John Key, we might actually recognize that he's on this little peninsula here. He probably doesn't really understand that yet. In fact, he hasn't scouted enough of this water to know how useful a dock is going to be there. A dock would really change his game. He's going to run out of fish on this side, but a good fish boom by John Key on this side. And I just realised I had it on Friend of Foe colours. John Key's actually in the blue, my bad, and Jamie Lee Ross has chosen grey for this map. Maybe he's trying to blend into the... grey has a bad reputation for being difficult to see on the minimap, so that could be what he's trying to do. Actually kind of tempted to turn it back because it was a little bit easy to see, but we'll respect the colour choices of the players. And again, I was talking about this in the first game, I think, but Jamie Lee Ross, a little bit of an interesting start. He always goes for his straggler trees and then goes for his lumber camps, and also picking grey a lot. And again, I'm starting to get a lot of Jock vibes. Jock's a friend of mine who's been playing the game a lot, and I was expecting to see him go into the finals at some stage. So, and John Key's also been a very strong player, so I think we're dealing with 2 very good players here. Very good fish boom for John Key. You can already see his score coming ahead, and that's because of those fish. And that would be a lot of food economy that he's loving right now. Another house coming up next to this water. John Key might be finally understanding that this water's quite big, and he could almost put a second dock here, and he does. Fantastic to see. That's going to be more fish. And if he gets one of these fishing ships and tells it to go to the other side, that'd be really good, because you get a really nice idea of the entire topography of the map. A dock finally coming up for Jamie Lee Ross, in a good position. You do want to dock the corners. There tends to be more fish in the corners, only because there's more water. But he's kind of chosen the wrong corner in this regard. I would have gone for the northern corner. But again, it comes down to scouting. Have a quick look at Jamie Lee Ross. Let's see what he can see. So he did do quite a long walk down there. Scouting with his villager now, this is very important. And he did see this water here, so I'm surprised he didn't dock there first. That's his idea, he's going to use this villager on the north side to do the same thing. Plenty of berries, he hasn't opted for a mill yet, he's saving that wood for these docks. And for houses, no doubt. He knows exactly where Jamie Lee Ross is, which is very valuable for him, because Jamie Lee Ross does not have that kind of information in return. In fact, Jamie Lee Ross only really knows very little. In fact, he did see the lumber camp from Jamie Lee Ross, John Key. So John Key might be a little bit suspicious. He might be thinking, oh, I wonder if someone's nearby. She's actually gone down here. She's hiding. This could be a big play by Jamie Lee Ross. He's in the back of the base of John Key. And if this villager hides correctly, I'd like to see her come right down here, to be honest, and away from the water. There's going to be fishing boats coming down here very shortly. Somewhere here. Keep hidden, keep safe, and she could build a couple of archery ranges in feudal age and hit all of this with a sneak attack, and that would be fantastic to see. Alright. Everyone's just trying to get the economy up and running. John Key housed for a long time right now. He's building this barracks. He really needs to get this house up. 2 villagers doing that. It's going to hurt. The reason he's getting housed so often probably is because there's a lot of fishing ships here, so every fishing ship is more or less like a villager. And we can actually look at the villager populations. John Key on 35, and a lot of that are these fishing ships. So it's so powerful to do a dock boom because again, it's like having two TCs. You just get so many more economic units faster than your opponent. And very early to those docks, and it's really paying off for him now that Jamie Lee Ross adds his, and maybe another at the top. No, she hasn't gotten around to it yet. Jamie Lee Ross is in the feudal age, however, and he's opting for a barracks. He wants to put some nice, I'm guessing men-at-arms. I'm guessing we're going to get men-at-arms come out of this barracks. This is fantastic. A little bit too close. I would have done it down here. Keep it a little bit more hidden. Or even might have waited for our castle age before I did this. And this is going to get scouted very shortly. And John Key is going to know. And I wonder what kind of response he's going to do to this. We'll find out exactly when he sees it. He does have his own barracks up in defense. And he is at 75% of the way to feudal age himself. And he's got very strong economy behind this. In fact, he does have the resources so that as soon as he hits feudal age, he will be able to go to the castle age. And there's that stone wall. Jamie Lee Ross trying to get something happening here. I don't think John Key's going to notice. He did notice. He sees the forward. He builds this. He builds his house. This villager's going to try to get, and that's. She just stopped. She tried to build a wall there. It would have made a sound, and Jamie Lee Ross would have noticed. I don't think John Key's noticed. There, he's noticed now. He's moving these villagers around. He's going to build that. He must be building some guys out of the barracks very shortly. He does have looms. That's good to see. I wonder what kind of response. Archery range is a good idea. I'd like to see. I'd actually like to see a couple of archers come out just to defense, but actually prioritizing getting to castle age and getting crossbows out would be really good. We haven't taken the chance to talk about Persians very often, actually. The Persians, they start with a little bit of wood and food. That's how they can do that dock and town centre so early. That's why John Key knew he could get away with it, building the dock and then the town centre, even though he said he didn't. I think he's just trying to lie to us. I think he's just trying to be a bit cheeky. There's that man-at-arms we were expecting. But they also get a very strong town centre. You saw the Persian douche. He was maybe hoping to do a Persian douche if he found the enemy earlier, but not a favoured strat for Nomad, considering you often don't have any scouting information. War Elephant, fantastic. But here's probably the main reason it was chosen. You can get a unique technology which makes your archer line, your crossbowman, costs only wood, 25 wood each. Well, it's a little bit more wood, but very, very cheap. Don't need gold. You can get through a game on nothing, just lumberjacks and crossbowmen. And the team bonus of knights plus 2 attack versus archers is very powerful when you hit castle age. You get those knights out and about. A spearman in defense against this man-at-arms. You can see the man-at-arms are doing a great job against the spearman. He doesn't even have any upgrades yet. Neither did the spearman, in all fairness. But these pointy boys, they just don't do a lot of damage. Villager's going to come in to help. Nice micro there from John Key. And these archers is what he really needs. 3 or 4 archers. There's a lot of these men-at-arms coming out now. And a watchtower in defense for Jamie Lee Ross. That one sneak villager being a real pain in the butt. And while this is happening, Jamie Lee Ross is in the back. He's switched gold. Another gold. Very open, but unlikely to be found. In fact, it's the closest gold he knows about, probably, to his town city. He probably would have opted for this one if he knew about it. No doubt he hasn't scouted that yet. And man-at-arms up the top for John Key. He should be using this to scout, but I suppose he's got more things to consider. All these fishing ships going to run out of fish very shortly, but they should have no problem going around to this side. There's no fish, there's no ship military out for Jamie Lee Ross yet, and these man-at-arms are becoming a real problem. They can't really get close to the town centre. You shouldn't be fighting with your vills here. Oh, no, actually you're doing a fine job. It'll be fine, but there we go, and that will kill the... There we go. So that's the problem. These men-at-arms, they can do damage, but they can't get close to the town centre. And that's why going to the next age right now, John Key, you have all the food you need. You have 1,300 food. You could just build a market right now and go to the next stage. And that's what you need to do. In fact, he just clicked up now. Fantastic. A nice early castle age from John Key, thanks to that fish. And if we look at the resources of Jamie Lee Ross, only 200 food and only 8 food units, and that's only these fish. And they're going to collect another 30 food from this and run out of nearby fish, and that's going to really hurt that's going to really hurt how much they're going to gather for him. So he is a long way away from Castle Age at this point of the game, especially making man-at-arms, which cost food. And I think this is going to be great for John Key. He doesn't really need to deal with this right now. These walls are actually completely useless. He can make a transport ship and just go around with these archers and kill this villager, which I would really like to see him do. That would be the smart move. But with Castle Age on the way, he could add a siege workshop, chuck a ram or a mangonel to take out this watchtower, no problems. The crossbows will handily defeat any of the men-at-arms. In fact, I would actually make a scout from my stable. I have a lot of food, and find opportunities to hurt the economy, the land economy of Jamie Lee Ross. In saying that, he's putting watchtowers on the front. He's gone very heavy on stone this game, I believe, right next to his town centre, and he's taken advantage of that positioning. Using those resources, he's going to chuck down some watchtowers and where he knows John Key's going to have to go. And it's quite ironic because John Key, just hitting the Castle Age now, is in such a strong position, but he probably doesn't feel like all these fishing ships making the migration to the other side of the map to get all the fish in the centre. And you know what, Jamie Lee Ross might see that and make a single fire ship. That's what I'd like to see. But and a single fire ship from this dock, from the Persians, to go hurt the economy, the only food economy of Jamie Lee Ross, would have been a great counter that John Key could have done as well. So he's in such a strong position, but he's not really taking advantage of it just yet. He's not made the right moves. He's going to come over here and instantly get scared by these watchtowers, I'd imagine. Going to get his own stone. He's thinking castle, which is a great idea. He does need a castle. All these archers are going to engage these men-at-arms. They're going to do a good job, and they're definitely going to take out the spearmen, no problem. In fact, a nice positioning between the houses here. They're going to take out all of that army very, very easily. And now they're crossbows, and now they're basically untouchable to the feudal army of Jamie Lee Ross. He needs to get to the Castle Age himself. This is what I was talking about. These crossbows do need to find a way to take out this villager before she makes much more damage here. But I would also be heavily focusing on finding out where Jamie Lee Ross is. He definitely knows about the fish economy. He should definitely make something deal with that. This one dock could make a single or two fire ships and just decimate this. Switching to fish traps from Jamie Lee Ross. He really doesn't want to make farms, which is really funny to see because he is the Khmer, and the Khmer get fantastic farm economies. So I don't agree with this at all, especially because this is the real. I suppose he thinks I've run out of fish. He could just build another dock up here and get more fish from the same fishing boats. Yeah, I don't agree with this play at all. It's very it's the wrong move. It's a waste of wood. It's wood he needs to build this front, to build this forward. Another watchtower coming up, very good. A single war galley coming out from the Persian player. It's good to see the war galley upgrade, and I would like to see the war galley actually do damage where it matters, which is the food economy, the entire food economy of Jamie Lee Ross. And John Key could totally take that from him. And then what is he going to do? He's going to have to make a transition to farms. It's going to be very painful. Pretty good economies from both of them. You'll note the villages for Jamie Lee Ross is 51, whereas the villages for John Key are 52. So very similar there. I'd like to see more town centres too by John Key, just to solidify his lead right now. And he's wasted his Castle Age. He's finally doing some damage against the eco of Jamie Lee Ross on this side, but he should have more galleys, more docks, more production. He can definitely afford it. And right now, Jamie Lee Ross is on his way to Castle Age, and it's a real shame because the Castle Age of John Key was so strong, and he could have really just done some damage here. Blacksmith just coming up now. These crossbowmen don't have any upgrades. He might be thinking, if I can just get a castle and get that crossbowman upgrade, I can make lots of crossbowmen for cheap. But he should just be making crossbowmen anyway. He's got a lot of floating gold. Oh, that's Jamie Lee Ross's gold. Fantastic switch into skirmishes by Jamie Lee Ross. It's going to make these crossbows a lot harder to, you know, crossbows can't deal with the skirmishes. This is a direct counter, and that's why they're getting cleaned up right there. So really good foresight to build this archery range by Jamie Lee Ross. And all of a sudden this fort is becoming a lot more threatening because these skirmishers can come forward and start harassing this gold or these woodlines. More town centres is what you need, John Key. You saw how much a single raid decimated your last game. such a good strong start with that fast castle age, but not even any knights out of the stable. A couple of knights just running around this base would win him the game right now, and it's like he just has completely forgotten. He's on the water still, but he should be one fire ship. He should be absolutely stomping the navy of Jamie Lee Ross right now. And he is, to be fair, but it should be doing more damage than this. Just a couple more galleys would be good to see. Some defensive watchtowers coming up from Jamie Lee Ross. I do like that. He's recognised the dockers on this side. This won't actually help if they actually go up. The lucky war galley there. Hopefully he'll deny those towers and continue his attack on the food economy of Jamie Lee Ross. We have another mass migration of fishing ships. We have a town centre from Jamie Lee Ross coming up on the north. That's a fantastic move from him. It's going to solidify. And here's the castle, and I don't agree with the castle either for this one, John Key. This castle, what does it do? I'll tell you what it does. It destroys this watchtower and this watchtower. This forward, this sneak villager, although it's been like a pseudo threat, right? And this is definitely an over response. This castle will be much more powerful here, where this town, next to this town centre, completely solidifying this area of the map for you for later in the game. This ford is a null event. You can transport your units around the walls and kill the one villager, and then take out these towers with some siege equipment later in the game. It's not like there's any valuable resources down there either. It's not like it's taking out your gold. That castle will have no problem taking out the watchtowers. But once it's done, I don't think Jamie Lee Ross cared for this ford anyway, and I think he's making new plans on the land. He's starting to switch his economy to farms. This is the right move. He's recognised he's lost the water again. Oh, he's popping out 2 galleys there. John Key needs to watch. He hasn't won the water yet. Now that Jamie Lee Ross is in the castle age, it's going to become a lot more even. He's already doing such a good job with weaker units. So now that he's got the production right here, I think John Key's going to have to ramp it up. Again, a couple more docks here. You don't just build from one dock, and he's really letting this victory that he had, again, slide away. The scout's going to not take out the elite skirmisher of Jamie Lee Ross. And this castle is now useless, killing houses of all things. Khmer houses. A very strong economy so far for John Key though. 63 villagers. A lot of that are fishing ships, but soon he will start running out of fish. He needs more villagers, more navy, and the navy is starting to equal out. The guys are both building off 1 dock each. Just add, yes, thank goodness, adding 2 docks, and now you can outproduce your opponent, and you'll quickly steamroll them. This is good to see, but it's too late. The water is almost, there's no fish left, just about. So you really do have to focus on what matters. The water mattered about 10 minutes ago, when you could have wiped out the entire food economy of Jamie Lee Ross. But now you've given him the time to transition to the food on land. It's a real shame to see. I'd like to see a dock built out in this corner for John Key, so this haul of fish back to his dock wasn't so long. Good, a second castle. This is what we like to see. This will make his position a lot less assailable. This is a good move from John Key. No doubt he'll be getting that tech to get crossbowmen for a cheap price of, I think it's 35 40 wood. Trying to make a push on the water, but the time has happened. This builder's come down and had a chance to finish the first watchtower. That's going to be very difficult for these ships to take out without some support. And I think at this stage all John Key can do is really just defend his pond, which is a bit like the Hauraki Gulf at the moment. There's not a lot of snapper left. Not a lot at all. More skirms coming out from this archery range, and a single ram. Is Jamie Lee Ross, he doesn't care about this little fort. He's just trying to be annoying, and it is working. It is working. It takes the attention of John Key, and I think it damages his calm. A lot of villagers on stone. He's thinking maybe another castle somewhere. He needs to kind of branch out, put another castle here would be really nice. Deny that what's left of this gold to Jamie, and can get more stone, and put another castle here, get more stone. I would like to see some more map control from the Persian player. He's going to want to control these wood lines. Control of the wood lines will be very important. And a defensive castle coming out from Jamie Lee Ross. Potentially an overreaction too, to be honest. I don't like it. You're a Khmer, you've already made a bit of a switch for your food economy on land, and you should continue to do so. You shouldn't be relying on fish traps. The Khmer farm bonus is just too strong to ignore. And yeah, and this castle will not go up. It's being denied. It's been seen by John Key. He's not going to let that one go up. And he has a much larger navy at the moment. I find this little skirmish at the bottom there. Who would have thought this tiny little canal would be so restrictive for both players as they try to hit each other on what I can only see as the most abysmal part of their economies now at this stage in the game. Trying to make a little bit of a ram train down here for Jamie Lee Ross. He wants to take out this castle in a sneak attack, I think he'll try to distract on the front. There's a monastery going up. Really good attention to the map by Jamie. You saw him have a monastery last game. He's going to try snag these relics. He wants gold in the late game. He knows that the Persian player can make crossbows all day. Finding the militia there. Another castle, and I really like this castle placement as well. It's defending the stone, and castles right next to each other. Whose castle's gonna go? I don't think either of them know. And honestly, I think John Key's is gonna go up first. There's many more. This is why, by the way, you use a lot of villages to build your castles, because this happens, and this castle's gonna go up, and it might even +8/+2. It might have the range to hit, well, it definitely hits this castle, but does it have the range to hit the villages? I don't think it does. Oh. So this castle can still go up by Jamie Lee Ross, but it will take a little bit of damage from John Key's castle, and he's gonna try, dash it down the village, but no, he's gonna come back, build a siege workshop, maybe build some rams, build some elephants. Ironically, now is the time, John Key. You have 1,000 food and 2,300 gold. Why are you not in the Imperial Age already? Single stable, mining camp for more stone, for more castles. John Key definitely trying to put himself in a good position for late game, and just when John Key's distracted at the front by this castle, Jamie Lee Ross had this plan. He said, I'll put a castle up, and it'll take all the attention, and then I'll just sneak those 2 rams underneath the castle at the bottom. I hate this castle by John Key. It just achieved so little, and it's gonna go down for free. If there was any strategic blunder, it was this. It was this castle. And maybe not focusing the water aggression fast enough. But I like this. I was kind of hoping that this would happen when this eventually stalemates, because of these towers. He still has the dock on the other side to make war galleys and send them round to hit the eco. And this is going to catch Jamie Lee Ross off guard. He still has the farm, the Khmer farm, so he should be relatively fine. No doubt, if we go to him, he's probably floating 500 third. They're both on their way to the Imperial Age. They're taking this game right to the end. To be honest, still very, very similar. John Key, 81 villages versus the 73 of Jamie Lee Ross. Very similar economies. A lot of dead fishing ships, and this is really good. He's really completely... I'm glad that castle... I bet Jamie Lee Ross is glad that castle never went up as well, because what was the point? What was it defending? Now it would be defending nothing, so I'm glad it got denied. In fact, John Key almost helped his opponent there by making sure that castle didn't go up. It probably meant that this one could. Rams coming forward, rams on the castle here. And what I don't understand is your Persians make a single war elephant. That is what you need to do right now, John Key. Just a single. He's going to go for a knight instead. But a single war elephant would be great. And right now, the knight will get taken out by the castle fire, and the war elephant wouldn't. And normally the war elephant is a unit you'd never make in competitive AoE, but right here it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense to just get a single elephant out. Perfect play by Jamie Lee Ross using a monk. Monks actually counter knights. They don't counter the knight. The knight kills the monk first, which just happened, but they do counter the knight if they get a conversion off. Even if they die after that, it's definitely worth it. These villagers could be used to repair this castle, give John Key some more time. He's actually in the Imperial Age. You could chuck some trebuchets out here too and trebuchet this castle down. I'm surprised they haven't entered into a treb war there. This is stupid. Oh, John Key, he is not paying attention. In fact, I do know a player who has no map awareness, and it's Jamie, and I do wonder if this is Jamie. He's finally discovered this. Yes, your village is sneaky, he says. Yes, very sneaky. It's taking out your entire castle for free. Luckily, his Persian town centre has twice the HP of a regular town centre, so he doesn't lose his town centre there. Destroy. He's going to use a knight. Just use your villages. Use your villages, it's fine. That shouldn't go down, it should be fine. And the castle did go down, and a second castle up, and another castle up coming up from John Key. But there's a ram, and it goes and it instantly kills it. And I didn't think he got a chance to delete the castle. I think it was actually destroyed. He would have just lost 650 stone. And that's a big deal. And why aren't you making military? I don't understand. He is Cavalier. This is why he's not been making military. He's been getting the upgrades first. And again, look at the damage that this has caused. Cavalier, very strong though, and now they've come out, and now he's actually producing them. We might actually start seeing a little bit of a switch in the game. They're down here too. They could run in, finally put an end to this fort, and could take down that watchtower very easily. What? Persian knights, very, very strong, very, very powerful. They shouldn't go and try and kill castles. A single trebuchet right now is exactly what John Key needs. Completely stopped the food eco. They actually really hurt Jamie Lee Ross, I think, and he has had to add more villages to farms here. Again, Khmer farms, so he should be in a good spot. But that's just something he had to deal with, and he's gone for his own Cavalier. So we're at Khmer Cavalier versus the Cavalier of the Persians. He shouldn't be letting his numbers is everything right now. You cannot lose 2 Cavalier when you're about to go 7v5, you know? If 7v7, sure. But now that he has the 2 number advantage, that losing those 2 Cavalier right there is actually a big deal. And another one, there's the trebuchet. About time, John Key. That could have happened 10 minutes ago. And there's already 2 trebuchets coming out for Jamie Lee Ross. We are going to enter into a treb war. Treb wars all come down to who has the most trebuchets. Usually whoever has the most castles has the most trebuchets. So that would be Jamie Lee Ross now, after we've lost 3 castles from John Key. But it also comes down to how much stone you have in the bank, and you need to repair your castles as they go down. And we're not seeing that right now from Jamie Lee Ross, so he might actually lose his castle. He's going to come in, sally out with his Cavalier. He's going straight for these trebuchets, and it looks like he will get them. The numbers are not here for John Key. In fact, where are his Cavalier? Have they just been slowly filtering into those castles the entire time? Oh no, and it's all starting to fall apart for John Key again. He's got some idle farms, idle villages in the back. Where is his attention, I do wonder? And he's gone for galley on the water. You've already won the water, and there's not a lot of water to actually fish left anymore. You need to take your attention away from the water, John Key. It needs to be right here, where Jamie Lee Ross is actually getting a hill bonus. There's a small hill here from all of his trebuchets, and he's just gonna, this castle is going to mount. There's too many Cavalier on the field. We have not prepared a pike or halberdier switch, and we have not taken advantage of our cheap crossbowmen either. And all in all, a little bit of a disappointing game from John Key here. He had it in the bag once again, and it's like as soon as he hits Castle Age, he's in such a good position. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happens, but he just fails to act. Again, this could be happening a long time ago as well. He just fails to, it's like he doesn't put his foot on the gas, and there's 2 more sneaky rams here by Jamie Lee Ross, probably going to get that town centre again. He does have some defense here, but these trebuchets are only going to pack down, move forward, unpack again, and start taking out these very high HP Persian town centres. But they may have a lot of HP, but they don't have a lot of HP against trebuchets. So camel switch from the Persian player. This is good, but these aren't heavy camels yet. They need to be heavy camels to deal with Cavalier. That tech isn't even coming out right now, and I really like to see this. Jamie Lee Ross has actually got these stables making light cavalry now. He knows he has enough Cavalier. He's not going to waste the gold, and those light cavalry are going to be used to raid. They're just going to go run right in, and it looks like John Key. Yep, fair enough. Oh, he had it in the bag, but he just doesn't have something. If only he had known how vulnerable Jamie Lee Ross was in that game, especially when he got that fast castle. Especially if he had just made a couple of fire ships and fuel and taken out the entire food economy, he would have delayed that Castle Age even more, and 3 knights, I think, in Castle Age would have won him the game. But instead, we have the Khmer player pillaging these farms. Trebuchets no less, and that's definitely the game, guys. John Key calls it. Good game, and it was a good game, but disappointing to see John Key not get a victory here. Thanks for saving me from the 5-match finals. They're just discussing the map now. Very good play from Jamie Lee Ross, actually. He came in very strong in Imperial Age there, and I loved to see the two castles going up next to each other. Very good game indeed, and John Key finally throws in the towel as Jamie Lee Ross is our first finalist. Confirmed. He takes out John Key in a best of 3, 2-0, a little bit of a sweep, and it'll be very interesting to see Jamie Lee Ross in the finals and who he's going to go up against. This is definitely a game you want to see some of the statistics for. They're so close throughout. Units killed 125 to 71, even closer than the last game. Largest army 24, so disappointing for John Key. It's like he just forgot. He had so many resources. I think if we go to the economies are neck and neck. There's not a lot of difference here. In fact, look at the gold for John Key, even ahead of Jamie Lee Ross in that instance. Faster Castle Age, faster Imperial Age, only by a fraction of a second, but faster nevertheless. Good at map exploration. He had that early fish boom. Villager high. John Key, I think maybe he was a little bit shaken from that first game, maybe doubted himself a little bit too much there, because he could have won that game in Castle Age. So the importance of scouting, so neck and neck. Such a powerful economy at the start for John Key. And he just, never got that late game working for him. Lost too many Cavalier for free to those castles. And, almost disappointing, to be honest. How that played out. They should have gone to game 3 in my opinion. But that's why Jamie Lee Ross is in the finals and John Key's not. I hope you all enjoyed that one. I certainly did. It was a fantastic game. Jamie Lee Ross, you're in the finals. John Key, you're out. And we'll find out who Jamie Lee Ross is playing when we release the next videos for the semi-finals. Alright, thanks very much, and till next time.